Hello, everyone. I hope you guys can join us. We are live here on YouTube. My name is Deepal Shah, and yep, we are.
Hello, everyone.
Woo.
I hope you guys can
Hold on
join us.
one
We
second.
are live here on YouTube.
There we go. So I don't hear myself. All right. So today, so this is the first time I'm going live on YouTube. So hello, whoever is out there. And I hope you guys can join us. I know we have some subscribers and maybe you guys are getting notifications. And so I am excited to be here. It's Friday, and I want to ask you, how many of you are awake? You know, being awake, what does that mean to you? And it's not about waking up in the morning, it's more than that. So today I brought my colleagues here to share their story about becoming awake and awakened to your conscious being, to your conscious self, awakening to who you are and your purpose here in life. And we call this awakening or consciousness of our being spirituality. But before I get into that, let me go ahead and introduce myself. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Deepal Shah. And for those of you who are new to my work, I am a medical intuitive as well as a speaker on many telesummits. And I bring together science and spirituality to help people all around the world with all different kinds of health issues. I am the founder of Ananda for Life. And what does that mean? Ananda means divine bliss. And so I'm here to help you find that divine bliss for life. And maybe you've seen some of my YouTube videos. But I'm here today with these beautiful, amazing ladies, and they have this incredible ability to use their gifts. You know, just because you're spiritual, it doesn't always mean that you're also an energy healer. So let's go ahead and clear that. A lot of people do go into healing modalities when they are on a spiritual path, or they do get energy healing work done because maybe conventional medicine has not worked for them, which has happened to a lot of us. And maybe you guys can relate to that from your experience. But today we want to talk to you about a topic that is very important. And I don't know, um, you know, how we can get people to become more awakened. And that's what I want to tune into, because right now, with the pandemic going on, more and more people are awakening, but they're awakening in different um, times, different lengths, I guess you could say, different dimensions, different realities for them. And that's okay, because it is a process of awakening, and it can happen in spurts or it can happen all together. Okay. I've seen people have a spiritual awakening through a near death experience, and that's through an extreme, right? But I've also seen people have an awakening, like myself, in spurts. You know, I used to be a pharmaceutical sales rep. So trust me, I was not about energy at all, or trying to figure out who I am, or working from my conscious brain. I was all about, how can I get things done, you know? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. So we are going to talk about spirituality, what that is. It's not woo woo. You know, people find that to be woo woo, or, oh, if you're spiritual, you're a tree hugger, right? But it's not true at all. What spirituality means is that you're finding out who you are. that person inside of you that's been hiding for so long. And once you find that person, you are going to live a more conscious life rather than being on autopilot. Right now, you're running through your subconscious programming. You are running through imprints of the past or the future. You're run by politics, the media, your friends, family, culture, nationality. And it's leaving you in the dark because you're not finding out who you are. And like I said, many times you're just running on autopilot. And I was there. So I understand and know what that feels like. Now, let me ask you, because of this pandemic and everybody's on lockdown, how many of you out there are actually reading self-improvement books? Why? Why are you doing that? There's a reason behind it. It's because you're reflecting on who you are and how you could be better. Well, to tell you the truth, you're on a spiritual awakening journey, and this pandemic has brought you here. And so, congratulations. So, because you're here and you're ready for this new shift that's coming about, this shift is your journey to a spiritual awakening, to your consciousness, because now you're actually conscious about your actions. You're wearing gloves or masks before you go out of the house. You think twice before you do something. And that's where you're becoming more conscious and thinking about what's important to you, right? So I want to really dive in today into some of your spiritual awakening or spiritual journeys. I want you to see other people who have had lives outside of this journey. We're not always on this journey from day one, that where we're, born, we pop out and say, all right, I'm on a spiritual journey. But we are. We just don't know it consciously. Each and every one of us is on a spiritual journey from the day that we are conceived, because we're here to live our purpose and our path, but we get so burdened by what's going around us that we become attuned to that frequency of others and trying to become something that we're not because we just want to fit in. If you tell your friends, oh, I'm on a spiritual journey, yeah, they're going to look at you like, what? Well, whatever, right? And it doesn't matter what others think. I remember my mom, she would tell me about, some people are spiritual, some people are religious. And being religious, if somebody says, oh, I'm very religious, I don't drink. So what does that have to do with religion? I don't know. Or would you look at them weirdly? How would you look at them if they responded to you that way? Well, it's the same thing. I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm here trying to find myself, who I am, and trying to be a more conscious being so I can live a happier and more fulfilled life. Because, guys, life can be stressful. It is tiring. It's exhausting at times if you are not able to deal with life's processes. And most of the people here on earth are not able to live and enjoy life's processes because, again, you're doing it unconsciously and on autopilot. I've been there, done that, and trust me, it's not fun. And that's what brought me into this path. because I got tired of dealing with so many things that were going on outside of me and inside of me, and more so inside of me. I'll tell you, I had many issues with my health. One of them being a digestive issue where I had endoscopies. I would go to the doctor almost every month. I had, oh my God, ulcers. I even had reflux, and nothing was helping. I didn't know what to eat, what supplements to take. I had a closet full of supplements. I was exhausted. I must have spent so much money. However, if somebody just told me that it's free to go inwards, maybe I would have done it sooner than later. But even for some of you, going inwards is scary. But whatever is going on outside of you is going on inside of you. Look at your life, look at your relationships, look at your health, look at your family dynamic. Look at what's happening around you. What is it stirring up inside your body? And so my journey started when I decided that I'm going to go inwards. And now I'm living this beautiful life where I'm enjoying life's processes. I'm able to handle life better. And whatever's thrown at me, all the challenges or obstacles, and whether or not I choose to see them that way. I used to be really quick to judge somebody. And now I realize, who am I to judge others? And you start having these self-realizations about yourself, about forgiveness, about judgment, about criticizing yourself or others, and how much you are worth. Because I know many of you probably feel like you're worthless or you don't deserve certain things. There are these beliefs that go on within us. So you have to tap into those beliefs. That's going to be your job. So I'm going to have some of my wonderful colleagues share their story because they've got some beautiful stories that they want to share with you. And so let's go ahead and talk to some of them right now. All right. Who wants to go first? Go ahead, Michelle. Let's see if I can unmute you.
I got it. I got it. Are we good? All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I have been a flight attendant for 28 glorious years. And so it was like I would fly by night and do other stuff at night and on the weekends. But it actually goes back to when I was really young. I was always kind of sensitive. Like if people would cry or be happy, I would find myself kind of joining in. And I knew that I was always sensitive, like crying over Little House of the Prairie or commercials, the Hallmark movies. Anyways, so I knew that I was sensitive that way. And I always kind of felt bad because people, oh, stop being sensitive. So anyways, I had a dog, a beautiful black lab, Reno. And at 2 years old, all of a sudden he developed some type of allergies. And I brought him to the vet and they did special food and they put him on some medication. And 2 days later, he went into kidney failure. And I said, that's it, I'm done. And so I was searching out something holistic, something I knew. They said, oh, it happens. I said, no, it always happens when they're younger. I knew there was something wrong. Something just really drove me. And so I went into town and I had never been into this metaphysical store before, but I thought maybe I could get some holistic help in there. And that was, well, I just got emotional. That was like the beginning of the end for me. And I said, I'm here looking for some help for my dog. And the woman says, oh, we have a woman that works with dogs. And she was like an animal communicator. And she told me exactly what I had felt, and I didn't know what it was that I was feeling, that he ingested some toxic poison at my husband's shop, and it burned his, his whole nose, and just started this whole reaction. And it was just like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And while I was there was also this a local author that was writing a book, and it was about a sensitive person survival guide. so, so I picked this up, and I'm looking at it. It was a short read, and I just was like, I bought the book, and I said, oh my God, I'm not crazy. This is me. And it was all about, can feel things and sense things and how to protect yourself. And she did it with Flower Box. And to my surprise, she was doing a little psychic development class. And I had never dove into any of that. And it just felt right. I went, and that was the beginning of the end. I could not read enough books about all different modalities. It was like exciting. Something just woke up my whole spirit. And once you go down that path, you can't turn around.
You can't. That's so true. You can't.
Yeah. So, but then here you are, right? You're doing your normal flight attendant job, and so when people would start to say, oh, well, what do you do? And you're kind of afraid to say that you're kind of spiritual. Their first question is, well, do you believe in God? Yes, I absolutely believe in God. I think they think that it's like devil worships. But anyways, from there on, I took as many classes as I could, almost became a junkie till one day that was enough. I found cranial sacral, but now I add all the tools that I learned from all the other classes, including yours, Deeple. And it really puts a different lens on how you look at life. Like you say, you don't judge. When people react, you're able to step back. And if you do need to have your own pity party, you let yourself have it. But then you put your big girl panties on, and you're like, okay, all right, what was that about? And then the beauty comes. I chose to go into actually helping other people. And that comes back to you tenfold. I mean, and it's just so natural. And to watch somebody bloom and blossom and help them, and then they start on their journey, it's just been a blessing in my life. And what I get more mad about is when I don't listen to my intuition.
And that's what this journey teaches, because when you become more conscious of your actions and everything that you do and say, it's like you're paying attention, right? It's like you said, you can't go back. You just keep moving forward. It's not religion. You still believe that there is a God, and so just being on this path is just beautiful, because you're recognizing it's a self-realization path, is what I like to call it. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story, Michelle. Thanks. Dana or Tara, you want to share your story?
Yep, I'm happy to go. Oh, Tara, you want to go? Okay. My name's Dana. Deeple, my journey was a little bit similar to yours in terms of physical issues, but first off, my spirituality awakening was not until 5 or 6 years ago. So I had a whole other pre-life.
Right.
And I used to be in book publishing. I still am a preschool teacher. So, I was doing all that, and just kind of really not aware or awake at all. And so I knew that one thing for me, that my whole life, I've been super sensitive to other people's emotions. And what I've learned now, so if someone was in a bad mood around me, I really had a hard time being in a good mood, or holding even if I was having a great day, then I'd be around someone and I would really get pulled in and pulled down by whatever their energy was. So spirituality has really helped me establish my energetic boundaries, so things really don't affect me as much. Like, I'm able to be therefore more supportive and holding a higher vibration for friends or family or acquaintances going through things. I'm able to kind of keep steady to maybe help listen and help support them through whatever they're going through, versus, I'm now taken out. So really grateful because my spiritual boundaries have kind of saved, like it's changed everything for me in that sense. But my journey was physical. I had many pretty serious and sometimes pretty rare physical issues. Like if there was sort of an obscure thing, I had it, including cancer, which I know is not rare. So, but the other stuff I had was like, well, only 2% of people have this. And I kept saying, what now? Like, what is wrong with me? I don't understand why these things are piling on. Haven't I already had enough? And the one condition that I had really made it difficult and debilitating to actually physically function in my body, to the point of I was unable to be upright. And that means even sitting in a chair, standing, anything more than 4 hours a day. So flat on my back about 20 hours a day, whether I was sleeping or not. So, I was desperate for some sort of solution and hope, because I felt like I'm only sort of at the halfway point of how long I'm hoping to live. And I thought, really, that back half is kind of over. Like, if that's it, like if I can't sit up, what am I supposed to do? So I found spirituality. Thank goodness, I felt in my heart there just had to be something to help me. Yeah. And so I was seeking, but so found, like it I'm so grateful. So it really has, and now I can be up all day. Like it's so good, but I'm so grateful. And I feel like I was really driven to that by, I kind of say, oh, I got all these things. And it wasn't until sort of that last straw. Like I just didn't wake up until the last thing I got was the thing that put me down 20 hours a day. And I thought, okay, I'm listening. What is there for me? What have we got? So that's kind of my story.
That's the thing. I think before I didn't want to listen to myself. I didn't want to hear what my body had to say. I didn't want to hear my intuition because I was afraid. And I think some people may feel that way too. Like, what do you mean listen to myself? I listen to myself all day as I'm chattering in my head, but that's different. That is different because most of the time you're probably chattering things that are not benefiting you, because thoughts create your reality. And so if you're ready to create your reality, it's time for an awakening. It's time for you to become more awake, because when you can think about your thought processes and make conscious thoughts and stop those negative thoughts, your reality of manifesting things and creating a better body for yourself, like your self data, all that manifests very quickly. And I'm not saying that, medical science and all that does not work, conventional medicine. But what I am saying is that when you feel like you're in a roadblock and then there's nothing else that can help you, and you're trying to look for something, guess what? There's something inside of you. And that's when medical help is not able to help you. If you've ever been to the doctor and they're like, we can't find anything, you've got digestive issues. Okay, we cannot find anything. And you've had every single test done. Guess what? It's coming from the inside, and only you can find that, because I guarantee you have been through a lot of stuff up to this point in your life. How many emotions and layers of emotions from past traumas, experiences, circumstances have you built up that were not so wonderful? All of those play out in your life right now. And that's why this journey is just so beautiful, because guess what? It's not that you forget your past. You learn to cope with it. You learn to work with it. Forgive those that you've never been able to forgive. Say you're sorry to those you haven't been able to say sorry to. and work through your emotions that you've been hiding. And that's the beauty of this journey. And if you're ready to do that, if you are ready, then be sure to contact me and let me help you, okay? It's deepalsha@anandaforlife.com. And definitely throw me an email or reply here, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Now, Tara has a wonderful story as well. And I think a lot of people, when they get on this awakening or journey, it's like because something happened with their health and they were in a roadblock, or something happened in a relationship and they were in a roadblock, or something happened with their finances. But most of the time, what I've seen from all of my clients is because of health issues, is what got them on this spiritual journey. So, Tara, go ahead and tell us your story.
Hello, I'm Tara, and my story started. I always wanted to be able to help people, and I went to school to be a medical assistant, and I worked at this fabulous hospital clinic, I guess it was, for 2 years before I really questioned what my job. I worked with a doctor, and we were I was administering the vaccinations to children. One day I happened to have the insert in my pocket, and I had brought it home unintentional, and I just happened to look at it just because I'm not sure why. And I started to Google what different things on the vaccinations were. And the next day when I got to work, I had said to the doctor, what is this? Why is this in a vaccination? What is that? And he angrily told me my job was to administer the vaccinations, not to ask all these stupid questions. And so that just felt wrong to me. And so at lunch, I had called my husband and was like, this doesn't feel right. And he had recommended that I talk to our family friend who is into natural healing and medicine. And I had called her, and she had told me, what her family does. And that resonated. I understood and felt bad that I had been administering all these vaccinations to these kids. So the next day when I got to work, I quit. I got in there, and I just couldn't be part of that anymore. So in my journey, I just wish everybody could research and really look and figure out what is in whatever you're taking. What are the products in it? If you cannot, Deepo and I were talking earlier, if you cannot pronounce what's in a vaccination, in a medication, in cereal even, you shouldn't put it in your body. And so the rest of my story is, okay, so I had quit that job, and then 10 years later, I kind of started to spiritually awaken, but wasn't really sure what that was because nobody around me really knew a lot about it. I had my third son, and he was born a preemie. He was born 10 weeks early and was 4 pounds, and he couldn't suck, swallow, breathe. And so he lived at the Children's Hospital here in Minnesota for 2 months. And during that time, I felt really pressured into the medical field, but I didn't really know how to be able to help him at home to suck, swallow, breathe. And so after the 2 months of him being in the hospital, we had gotten home, and I really got self-help books and was like, I wanted to help him heal and fix this. I didn't want to have to keep him, taking him to the doctors. And I mean, we do go to the doctor, but not very often. If I can't fix it, I call on all my spiritual friends and my healing friends, and somebody knows something. So that's my story.
So it's such a, it's interesting. Like I said, I worked in pharmaceutical sales, and I mean, I quit my job because I was going to be at home with my kids because they were very young. And, when they get sick now, and it's so interesting how being on this journey led me to become an energy healer. So all of us here are energy healers right now, and we all have different, areas that we help people in. But because we were on this beautiful journey, we want to help others and be of service. And that's why we got into energy healing. And that's why we quit our job in pharmaceuticals. And I felt the same way you did, Tara. Like, I can't believe I was pushing drugs, like, oh, I've got the pill, with family and friends and everybody. I wanted to put everybody, the whole world, on pills. And now I'm like, do not take that Tylenol. Let me help you.
Yeah.
And there are times when you do need medication, and I completely get it. I even being on this journey, I have taken medication, I have taken antibiotics, I have taken other things, and it's okay, because we have to discern what we decide for ourselves and what we decide not to take for ourselves. And Tara and I, yes, we were talking earlier about this, that just because you're on a spiritual journey doesn't mean you're diminishing everything else around you. You have to have discernment. You take advice from the medical field. You take advice from a naturopath. You take advice from a chiropractor, and then you make your own discernments.
Yes.
But because you're on a spiritual journey, you can decide that for yourself. If you're not, you let other people decide for you. And that's what I used to do. Let other people decide for me because they know best. But guess what? When you are awakened and you know yourself better than anyone, and you know your body better than anyone, guess who knows best? You do.
Yes.
So, that brings us to a conclusion. And I want to thank you, ladies, for sharing your story. What wonderful information we can bring to others to be on this journey. And you can reach out to any one of us. Okay. The website you could reach us at is ananda4life.com. It's ANANDA, the number 4life.com. And I'll put it in the comments. Also, if you want to connect, you can go to the same website. You can also tune in to my podcast, and you can find it on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify, all those wonderful channels, as well as my website. Yeah, and on my website, while you're there, you can grab your free stress-free relief guide. Right now, I know a lot of people reaching out to me saying, my anxiety's up, I'm having panic attacks. These things can be controlled. We need to work with the stress that's coming up for you. And there's some wonderful, wonderful techniques within this relief guide. There are 3 or 4 videos. And take a look at those. They're not very long, but they do share with you some ancient yogic techniques that will help you with relieving your stress whenever it pops up. Okay, guys? So thank you all for being here, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much.